obeyed in silence, but the work was far from finished. Perfection was not a moment. It was a process repeated until doubt disappeared. Craftsmen ran their fingers across the seams, feeling for flaws invisible to the eye. Touch revealed what sight could not. Each joint was tightened again, not from mistrust, but from reverence. A divine vessel deserved certainty, not assumption. The ropes binding the structure were pulled until the wood itself seemed to breathe as one body. They did not hammer force into the vessel. They persuaded the wood to accept its shape. Heat, moisture, and patience bent the rigid beams into graceful curves, worthy of the sun's path across the sky. Every curve had purpose. Every line followed cosmic harmony, rather than human convenience. The builders believed that imbalance invited disaster. Harmony, however, invited eternity. Pitch, drawn from the earth's depths, was warmed and spread carefully into the seams. This black resin was more than sealant. It was protection against time, water, and decay. Layer by layer, the vessel gained resilience. It was being prepared not only for a journey, but for ages. The scent of resin, cedar, and desert air mixed into a fragrance of labor and devotion. Mistakes were not punished with anger. They were corrected with patience. The vessel demanded calm minds. Even the smallest shaving of wood was cleared away, for disorder had no place in sacred construction. Supervisors walked slowly along the structure, observing lines and balance as if reading sacred geometry. A slight misalignment could disrupt the vessel's harmony with the cosmos. Thus, the builders adjusted, measured, and adjusted again until symmetry replaced uncertainty. Sunlight moved across the hull throughout the day, revealing subtle shadows that exposed hidden imperfections. They waited for these shadows, using the sun itself as an instrument of inspection. When the light revealed no flaws, the craftsmen allowed themselves a rare moment of satisfaction. But satisfaction never meant completion. The next phase always awaited. Decorative elements were minimal. Discipline mattered more than ornamentation. This vessel was not meant to impress the eye. It was meant to endure beyond lifetimes. Still, sacred markings were applied with care, symbolizing protection and divine passage. Each symbol carried prayers carved into form, asking the gods for safe passage through the unknown. The bow rose elegantly, designed to greet the rising sun each morning. The stern balanced the form, ensuring stability both in water and in symbolic meaning. Seen from a distance, the vessel resembled a living creature resting upon the sand. Yet beneath its stillness lived motion, purpose, and a journey that would transcend death itself. Before a ship could be called a ship, it had to prove itself against the forces you can't see, the ones that test everything we build. The builders would gather, their hands pressing against the massive wooden hull, shifting its immense weight just slightly. They weren't just pushing, they were listening, their ears trained for the faintest creak, the slightest groan that might whisper of a hidden weakness. In this tense moment, silence was the highest form of approval. Any sound was a warning, a sign that more work was needed. They'd then pour water over every seam, watching intently as the wood drank it in. They observed how it responded, swelling just enough to tighten the joints, sealing itself against the very element it was born to conquer. This ship was a marvel of design, a paradox in motion. It was engineered to hold itself together, to become stronger under pressure, rather than splintering apart. This wasn't just construction, it was a deep understanding of nature, a form of engineering born from centuries of observation, refined through generations of trial, error, and survival. The builders trusted the inherent intelligence of the materials as much as they trusted their own skilled hands. They were making way for a different kind of authority, a ritual power that would complete the vessel's creation. Priests approached with slow, measured steps, their movements deliberate and full of meaning. They carried incense that sent fragrant smoke spiraling into the air, and vessels of sacred oils gleaming in the sunlight. The smoke rose, drifting over the ship, clinging to its form like a visible blessing, a tangible prayer. Words were spoken, not shouted to the heavens, but uttered with quiet precision, as if the very air itself was a conscious listener, absorbing every syllable. The workers, who had just moments before been covered in sawdust and sweat, washed their hands in basins of purified water before they could approach the sacred structure again. This act of cleansing wasn't merely symbolic, It was a discipline of both body and mind, a transition from the profane to the sacred. The boisterous sounds of construction faded. No one shouted now. Voices softened, dropping to respectful whispers in the presence of consecration. Even the desert wind, which always seemed to be moving, seemed to pay its respects. It moved gently across the hull, carrying fine grains of sand that whispered against the polished surface, as if acknowledging the vessel's profound purpose. The thick ropes that had held the ship in place during its construction were removed. One by one, each release a symbolic act of freeing the ship from its earthly restraints. Now, the vessel stood on its own, a testament to balance, strength, and perfect completion. While the rituals unfolded, scribes were busy nearby. They meticulously recorded every detail, the precise measurements, the specific dimensions, the types of wood used, and the sources of the materials. Nothing sacred was ever left undocumented. They understood that human memory, however sharp, could not be trusted with knowledge this important. This was a legacy for future generations. Once consecrated, the vessel was no longer just a project. It was a treasure. Guards were immediately assigned to watch over it, day and night. It didn't belong to any single person, not even the builder or the king. It belonged to eternity and the crown. As the sun began to set, the hull seemed to catch fire, glowing in the warm amber light, reflecting the same sun it was built to serve. Thank you for watching. If you found this journey into the past as fascinating as I did, please consider subscribing for more stories of history and human ingenuity. This isn't just a boat. It's a vessel of immense spiritual importance, a sacred ark destined for one final journey. For centuries, it has served its community, a centerpiece of faith and tradition. Now, its time has come. Today, we witness its final passage, a journey from the world of the living to a place of eternal rest. The air is thick with anticipation and reverence. Preparations have been underway for weeks. The vessel, adorned with intricate carvings and symbols that tell stories of generations, is being readied. Each detail, from the polished wood to the carefully placed ornaments, speaks of a deep respect for what it represents. This isn't a farewell of sorrow, but a celebration of a life well lived, a service dutifully completed. Priests and elders gather, their chants echoing through the air, invoking blessings for this sacred transition. These final rites are crucial, a spiritual cleansing that prepares the vessel for its voyage into the beyond. The rituals are ancient, passed down through countless generations, each movement and prayer steeped in meaning. Slowly, tenderly, the vessel is carried towards the water. It's a procession of the entire community. Every person present feels a connection, a shared history tied to this symbolic craft. You can see it in their eyes, a mixture of solemnity and pride. This moment bridges the past and the future, a tangible link to their ancestors and the legacy they leave behind. The procession moves with a rhythmic grace, a slow, deliberate march that honors the weight of the occasion. As it reaches the shore, a hush falls over the crowd. The lapping waves seem to whisper a welcome. With the utmost care, the vessel is set afloat. It bobs gently on the surface, a solitary figure against the vast expanse of the water. For a moment, it feels like it has come alive again, ready to sail the seas. But this journey is different. There are no oars, no sails, no crew to guide it. Its course is now in the hands of nature and the divine. As the sun begins its descent, casting a golden glow across the horizon, the vessel is given its final push. It drifts away, carried by the currents, a silent voyager on a one-way trip to its final resting place. The community watches from the shore, their figures silhouetted against the setting sun. They don't turn away until the vessel is a mere speck in the distance, swallowed by the horizon. They are entrusting it to the elements, a return to the source from which it came. In many cultures, this practice is known as a ship burial or a vessel's final voyage. It's a powerful symbol of letting go, of honoring the cyclical nature of life and death. The vessel, once a vibrant part of their world, now becomes a part of the eternal mystery of the sea. This isn't an ending, but a transformation. The sacred vessel is now a legend, a story to be told to future generations. Its physical form may be gone, but its spirit remains, woven into the cultural fabric of the people it served. It becomes a guardian of the waters, a memory that inspires and guides. This profound and beautiful tradition reminds us of the deep connections between humanity, nature, and the spiritual world, a testament to how we honor our most sacred objects, not by preserving them forever, but by giving them a dignified and meaningful return to the elements. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. If you were moved by this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more explorations into the world's most fascinating traditions.